This is Dolany TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. I'd say this fine day, that's normally what I'm always talking about on a Friday. You know what? It's Friday afternoon, the weekend's here, all things are dandy, all things are good, except for, my goodness, she's been raining all week since that whole long weekend of ours. Beautiful, gorgeous weekend ended. So here we are in southern Alberta being drowned out by the rain, and well, you know what? We head into a dreary weekend looking up to maybe some sun on Sunday. But yeah, see, that's the key term here is Sunday. Because if you've noticed kind of a pattern here on Dolany TV the past few weeks is there's always this big new Puljujarvi rumor on a Sunday. Well, my friends, we've got something for you on Puljujarvi today. And I mean, there's 100, I could find 5 videos a day to do on Puljujarvi at this point, alright? That's kind of the way it is. So if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date on what's going on with Puljujarvi, because it's honestly, during this pause season, the biggest story kind of on ice situation, player personnel wise, for the Edmonton Oilers, well, hit that subscribe button and stick around. That said, let's get to this tweet chain here from two guys that, if you look on Twitter, very highly respected in the draft community, kind of NHL entry prospect world. It's a world I don't know too well, so if you guys know these guys, hey, props off to you, and hopefully if you don't know them, give them a follow. So, Steve Cornianos, hopefully I've got that right. I could butcher things here tonight because, well, it is Friday and it's been a long work day. Here's my biggest question with Puljujarvi. Why not just offer sheet him? And this is exactly the discussion, essentially asking why this whole thing hasn't happened yet. RFA off an ELC, if you offer him under 2.1 mil a season and he signs it, the compensation back to Edmonton is a third-round pick. Oilers wouldn't match it because he has no desire to play here. And then, of course, Larry Fisher, another guy very well respected in the draft community. Well, if you look, Bob Stauffer follows him, so that just gives you a tick of credibility there for sure. Again, sorry, I don't know these guys. These are not Twitter accounts I have offhand, so we'll get better as this pause season goes along. I promise you. It's opening me up to a bunch of Twitter accounts. This could have happened last summer already, but maybe teams trying to acquire Puljujarvi will use an offer sheet threat as leverage now that he's coming off a bounce back year in Finland. Interesting take nonetheless. So here you go. This is the situation, right? That's the tweet chain. I don't have the screenshot that leads to that on how I discovered it from Jim Matheson saying he believes the Oilers would match it, then see what happens with the kids. So you've got your three kind of perspectives, right? Why didn't this happen last year? This could happen this year, and of course the Oilers will match it, right? Can it happen? Can it not? Will the Oilers match? Will the Oilers not? And this should have happened last year. Plenty to be considered all in. Now the thing with this is there's more added depth to it, and for that I invite you over because I mean I can't take screenshots of absolutely everything for you to make you understand. Go over to, I think it is Calculators on the capfriendly.com website. You guys know I'm a huge supporter of CapFriendly, and you go to the salary tab you go to the calculators and then you go to offer sheet salary tab. And if you go to annual average value, which is your AAV, which is your cap number and how you compensate the player, you come up with this chart of teams that have the requirements met and of course the compensation plus the salary figure. Of course, if a team wants to offer Puljujarvi below $1.395 million, there is some change in there, keep that in mind, they get away with no compensation. In that world, I believe the Oilers match it. Now 1.395 mil to 2.114 roughly is the high end. It's 113,716 is a third round pick as mentioned in the tweet chain on the screen. I believe I've got it there. No, I've got the subscribe thing up. I don't know. Now, the thing is, for Puljujarvi, the other side of the argument, I mean, you can see it in the tweet thread if you go find those tweets, is a lot of people saying, well, he wouldn't sign for that money. He doesn't want that money, especially if Edmonton's going to match it. He wants more so that he can guarantee he's going somewhere, right? So all of a sudden, right, now you've got a player who's revitalized his career to a degree Obviously, we don't know how it translates to the NHL game, but he had a good season, by all accounts, points-wise and stuff. The shots still confuse me, but that's just me, and I'll put myself on an island for that because everybody else absolutely doesn't seem to care. 2.113717 to 4.227437 is a second-round pick. Now, that's kind of where you get your divide, right? For the Oilers, if they really see themselves doing something this offseason drastic to try and get back into that draft position for next year, I mean, if you have no offers at the draft and suddenly somebody offer sheets Jesse Puljujarvi $2.7 million, there comes in the question, what do you do? Do you send the player, let him go on the offer sheet to whoever meets the requirements? There's only 6 teams currently who don't meet the requirements, that being Columbus, Edmonton, New Jersey, so scratch off only 5. New York, San Jose, the Islanders, that is, and of course the St. Louis Blues. Those are the only teams that don't meet the requirements on that kind of situation between $2.1 and $4.2 million for a second round pick. So, right, you look into that. Who kind of lives in there? Well, you've got a Montreal that Yes has been linked to. You've got a New York that Yes has been linked to. You've got a Florida that Yes Puljujarvi's been linked to. You've got a Detroit that Yes Puljujarvi's been linked to. And pretty much any team. I even heard one buddy at work saying that somehow Calgary's in the mix for Yes Puljujarvi too. Don't ask me. I don't know. I haven't heard that one, but right? What do you do? So that's kind of the situation. That's the numbers game, right? That's the numbers game there, so that makes sense. But now you actually ask yourself, how big of a threat is this? Because when you look at this, right, the third round pick, a second round pick, that's where a lot of people, if you go to the comments section of every single Dolany TV Jesse Puljujarvi video since, I don't know, July 2019, you'd see third round pick, second round pick, maybe a late first round pick is kind of the compensation. A lot of people either that's all they want to see for Jesse Puljujarvi, or that's all they think the Oilers will see for Jesse Puljujarvi. So you've got this weird mix, right? That's kind of the expected return, and then that's the potential return on an offer sheet, and then secondary to that, if you use that as a threat and the Oilers agree to keep them, can you then negotiate a bigger return? Because if a team's already willing to give up a second round pick on a 2 something salary or 3 something salary in between the 2.1 and the 4.2, they might be willing to work with you a little bit if you can throw in something else, right? So this is where I think an offer sheet would be a threat to materialize a trade. I think that's a fair statement to say because, you know what? Yeah, an offer sheet, most cases, as we've seen in the NHL, is worst case scenario, right? Obviously, you look at Sebastian Aho's offer sheet this last season. That was kind of all kinds of hoopla. My goodness, did that cause commotion for a couple days. But in the end, all sides got exactly what they wanted, right? Montreal almost got their star player in, but you know what? Sebastian Aho got his contract, and Carolina kept their guy. That was the result. Well, now you've got an idea here where we've all been talking trade. There has been zero talk up until now, and this is why I'm doing a video. Nobody out there in the stratosphere of anybody that's actually got some kind of legitimacy has talked about a serious offer sheet for Jesse Puljujarvi as a threat or as anything. And here we are. We've got it today. We've got that out there in the Twitter sphere now, and you've got some replies. You've got some actual Edmonton guys getting in on it. Okay, well, you know what? If it's a threat, I don't see why you use it just as a threat and hope Edmonton does match, because I think there may be a little bit more negotiating, right? Because you've talked about a lot of teams in the mix for Jesse Puljujarvi. If the Oilers come to the table to bargain after being threatened a little bit, there could be something worked out that isn't just straight up an offer sheet and gone. Because I think, you know what, as much as we've talked about only receiving a second or a third round pick for Jesse Puljujarvi, you might have said that in a comment 3 weeks ago. If that were the case, when the offseason opens up and we only receive a third round pick for Jesse Puljujarvi, there's going to be a lot of people angry about that. Don't kid yourself. So I do believe there's going to be a lot to an offer sheet if it does happen. And it'll just, as much as a threat, it'll be an open up to a direct trade talk. Makes sense, right? Is, hey, I've got all the attention now. Pressure's on. Deal with me. I want this guy. And I honestly don't know how an offer sheet trade would work because I don't think we've seen one recently, if at all. But I imagine, right, offer sheet comes in, yes, Puljujarvi signs it, Oilers match it, Oilers then trade yes, Puljujarvi to the team that offered the offer sheet. Now, the only reason I think this really good possibility is anything's on the table at this point with yes, Puljujarvi. For the things we've discussed so far, I'll lay anything on the table as a possibility. Guys, I'm Tyson, this is Dolany TV. Thank you so much for tuning in to this Friday edition of Dolany TV. If that NHLPA vote leaks tonight and we got some news on a 2014 playoff format, I'll let you know and we'll get discussing it. But I'm Tyson, Dolany TV, up on out of here for now.